Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Bhagavad-gita as it is. Chapter 4, Text 15, Translation and Commentary by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhakti Swami Prabhupada, Founder Acharya of ISKCON. Evam gyatva kritam karma.
Evam gyatva kritam karma.
Purvairapi mumukshubhihi.
Purvairapi mumukshubhihi.
Kuru karmaiva tasmat tvam.
Kuru karmaiva tasmat tvam.
Purvai purvataram kritam.
Purvai purvataram kritam.
One thing I'd like to point out here is the difference between long syllables and short syllables. There's a distinct difference. Evam gyatva kritam karma. You see there's a difference. Evam, here the sound is short. Then gyatva, the and Can you hear the difference? Just try and listen. I'll chant again. Look at the board and see where the line is. That means it should be pronounced as a long syllable. Now you're pronouncing Purvataram, Purvataram. If it was a Croatian word, maybe you would pronounce it Purvataram. Why I'm saying is because in different languages the emphasis, usually in European languages, the emphasis usually comes on the penultimate syllable. But in Sanskrit, there's no such rule. Wherever the line is, that's where it's pronounced long. Hare Krishna. Anyone else like to try? Alright, I'll chant it again and see. Just try to follow very nicely, because actually you can all do it, it's not difficult. Just like I learned to do it, I wasn't brought up chanting Sanskrit shlokas. But as we're doing this regularly, it's good to learn how to do it properly, isn't it? Just like if you're cooking chapati, if you're going to cook chapatis every day for the rest of your life, you might as well learn how to cook them nicely for Krishna's pleasure. So if you're going to chant these Sanskrit verses, so it's not a very difficult thing to learn. Just when there's a line, you pronounce it long, the vowel, and then when there's not a line, short. That's all. So let's try again. Evam gyatva kritam karma.
Evam gyatva kritam karma.
Purvairapi mumukshubhihi.
Purvairapi mumukshubhihi.
Kuru karmaiva tasmat tvam.
Kuru karmaiva tasmat tvam.
Purvai purvataram kritam.
Purvai purvataram kritam.
Krishna is saying, keep on going. Don't give up. Those who are liberated previously, they continue to perform their duties in this material world and be Krishna conscious. And you should follow in their footsteps. This is an important concept in Krishna consciousness, to follow in the footsteps of great previous liberated acharyas. Liberated acharyas come to this world to show us how to live in this world and be Krishna conscious. And we are enjoined to follow in their footsteps. Mahajana yena gata sapanta. In the Vedas, the original Vedas, that is called Shruti, that which is heard, and corollary to that are the Smriti, that which is remembered. The Smriti includes the Puranas, Mahabharata and other literatures. Those who are followers of the Shruti, they sometimes say that, well, you know, the Puranas are just a bunch of stories. Of course, in the original Vedas, there's so many stories also. But these stories, they're stories of great personalities to show us how to live in this world and act according to the philosophy which is described in the Vedas and Vedanta. So we're enjoying to follow in the footsteps of great souls who stuck to Krishna consciousness despite all obstacles. Mostly all the great souls who are described, they all are famous for having practiced Krishna consciousness in adverse circumstances. Great examples are there: Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj, Bhishma, everyone in this world goes through difficulties. But great devotees, their greatness is shown by how they face difficulties in Krishna consciousness, and they don't give up Krishna consciousness despite any difficulties or discouragement. Now, here in this purport, Prabhupada discusses that foolish persons or neophytes in Krishna consciousness often want to retire from activities without having knowledge of Krishna consciousness. How relevant Prabhupada's words are. We'll find in Prabhupada's books something relevant to every situation. There's nothing that Prabhupada hasn't discussed. As we often say, everything is there in Prabhupada's books. Now it's quite a common syndrome that we see people become attracted to Krishna consciousness, but then after some time they think, well, you know, I like Krishna consciousness, it's pretty nice, but it's not like, it's not so fun. So, we shouldn't really take Krishna consciousness that seriously. We shouldn't push ourselves too hard. We should live a kind of natural life. You feel like a little sense gratification, a lot of sense gratification. You just, take it how you feel like it. If you want to do a bit of bhakti, okay. If you want to have a little maya here and there, push yourself and be unnatural. I mean, if you feel like watching a movie or eating ice creams from the shop or any such nonsense things. I mean, there's so many things you can do. Why not do it? What's the harm? Well, the harm is, of course, that you spoil your human form of life. You get yourself thrown back in the 8,400,000 species of life to become a cat, a dog, or something similar to that. So, not taking to Krishna consciousness is not very conducive, especially having had knowledge of Krishna. If we again become captured by Maya, it is a great tragedy. Prabhupada once said that those who take to Krishna consciousness are very fortunate. Those who don't take to Krishna consciousness are very unfortunate. But the most unfortunate are those who take to Krishna consciousness and again go away from Krishna consciousness. It is understood that those who are in material life, anyway they're unfortunate. But just like if you see a beggar, he's a beggar. Bad luck, mate. And if you see a rich man, that's supposed to be good luck. But if you see someone who was a beggar, and again became rich, and again threw all the money away, and again he's a beggar, he's unfortunate, foolish also. So, Prabhupada is recommending here, don't be foolish, don't be a neophyte, don't retire from activities, and that's what well, in Krishna consciousness there's so many things to do, and isn't it better just to take life a little easy, and there's so many activities, and sometimes it's a little rough and tough, and devotees, they're getting on my case a bit, and it's easier just to sit at home and just be Krishna conscious in your own way. Have you heard this expression? I be Krishna conscious in my own way. But actually we have to be Krishna conscious in Krishna's way. Why Krishna is giving us scripture? Why are there so many scriptures? To teach us how to be Krishna conscious. Do this, do that. Vidhi nishedh. Vidhi means that which should be done, and nishedh means that which should not be done. Yam niyam. There are certain things that should be followed if you want to be Krishna conscious. Of course, if you're fully Krishna conscious, there are no rules to follow because you're Krishna conscious. ipso facto. You don't need to do it because you are Krishna conscious. But if you're not fully Krishna conscious, then you have to follow rules and regulations to become Krishna conscious. Rules and regulations such as rising early, chanting at least 16 rounds of the Maha Mantra every day, if not more. Try and chant more. Studying Srila Prabhupada's books, these things are essential for becoming Krishna conscious. It's not that you can become Krishna conscious in your own way. I want to be Krishna conscious, but I'm not going to chant any rounds. I'm not going to associate with devotees. I'm not going to take prasadam. I'm not going to read Srila Prabhupada's books. And I'm going to watch TV and do every other nonsense thing I can think of. And at the same time, I'm going to love Krishna. All these rules and regulations that are neophytes. I'm just going to love Krishna. But with no symptoms of any love for Krishna. Simply imagination. Some kind of cheating. So, this is all nonsense. One cannot be Krishna conscious without following a process. But even if one is Krishna conscious, as Prabhupada is mentioning here, even the great souls who are liberated, they also follow the activities of Krishna consciousness. One reason is to teach others, another reason is because they like to. Just like in our neophyte stage, we're enjoying to chant at least 16 rounds of the Maha Mantra every day. It's not that when you become liberated, great, I became liberated, now I don't have to chant Hare Krishna anymore. No, it's not like that. You want to chant more. You take pleasure in studying the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. Zik Opa, how he enjoyed preaching practically the same thing over and over again, and of his body. The eternal spirit soul, the eternal servant of Krishna, we should act on that platform. He took pleasure, because this is Krishna consciousness, to discuss what Krishna has given. Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha means there are varieties of Krishna Katha. Krishna begins his Katha in Bhagavad-gita. They teach us that we're not his bodies. So that's Krishna Katha. It's very pleasant to discuss these things for the liberated souls. And for the non-liberated souls who are trying to take to Krishna consciousness, it's also pleasing. It's also very much necessary. Now, due to Maya, we may think that, well, I've been chanting Hare Krishna some time now, that's enough for the time being. Or it's kind of boring, or we should try other things, or you have to act, you have to be something of a materialist, otherwise materialists won't be attracted to Krishna consciousness. There are many funny ideas. But funny means they're bogus. The real idea is to practice Krishna consciousness following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas, not in our own way. If you're doing it our own way, first thing you wouldn't have even heard of Krishna consciousness, you probably haven't come and taught this. And subsequently Prabhupada's followers come and taught all these things. The other thing is that if there's their own way, then why Prabhupada has translated all these books? Why do all these books exist? Why do we have classes? If it's your own way, what is this your own way? That is described by Krishna Bhagavad-gita. Da Shastra Vidvudstraja Vartate Kamakara Nasasiddhi Bhavati Nasukam Naparamagate. Does anyone know the translation of this verse? It's a very important verse from Bhagavad-gita. You should learn this verse. Krishna says, it's very important. Krishna says that those who give up the scriptural regulations, who do not follow the rules and regulations of Shastra, but act kamakarata, Prabhupada translates, according to their own whims, according to their own desires, in my own way. I did it my way. Sang Frank Sinatra. Then, what is the result? They do not achieve perfection. Nasukam, they do not achieve happiness. They do not naprangatim, they do not go to Krishna. They spoil their lives. Shastra is there to guide us. Because we are wild. We are like wild animals. We have some veneer or cover. Veneer means a thin covering. Just like you have some cheap plastic table and you put a thin covering which makes it look like expensive wood. That's called a veneer. So we may have a veneer or a thin artificial covering of civility or morality. So practically speaking, without Krishna consciousness, everyone is a savage, barbarian, eating meat, drinking wine, having sex left, right and center, simply interested in how to enjoy life on the bodily platform. So we're wild, our minds are wild. The rules and regulations of Krishna consciousness are required to guide us. And actually it's very pleasant to follow this. It elevates us. Why are these rules and regulations there? To elevate our consciousness to Krishna consciousness. Originally our consciousness is Krishna consciousness. At the moment our consciousness is that we are conscious of ourselves, considering ourselves to be the body. So we think everything in relation to this body is pleasing, but we practically see that it's not pleasing. Now it's the summer. People like to go to the beach. They think this will be very pleasing, but it doesn't satisfy the soul. To have some warm sun on your skin may feel very pleasant, but it's not the perfection of life. It doesn't actually satisfy you. Real satisfaction leads to know Krishna. The rules and regulations of Krishna consciousness, they're meant to help us to love Krishna. And actually that's what they do. Just like we have the rule to chant 16 rounds of the Mahamantra. And what is that? Chanting the name of Krishna. Such a wonderful thing, such a nice thing. In our diseased condition, we are thinking it's not nice. In our diseased condition, we're thinking, oh, such a strange chant. The one who is liberated, he's thinking, I need more tongues, more ears to savor the nectar of chanting Hare Krishna. We're thinking this rice is not so nice. But a liberated person, they like to. They think, oh, I should have wasted my life to sleep. Better get up, chant Hare Krishna. Uttishta, Jagrat, Prapya Param Nibodhi, Vedas say, get up, wake up, get that thing for which you are destined. Human form of life is meant for knowing Krishna. So Krishna is giving several times in the Gita. Krishna, as in this verse, is reminding us of the great personalities in the past who have attained to this. It's not that we're alone. We have much help from great personalities in the past, and we have the example of many great persons in the past. That verse is there also in the Gita. Bahavo tapasa bhutavad bhavanavitaha vitaragavaya krodha namaya mamapashitaha bahavo jnana tapasa bhutavad bhavanavitaha. Krishna says that many people in the past becoming free from attachment, fear and anger, becoming purified by knowledge and austerities, they came to me. So Krishna said, many in the past have come to Krishna. You can also come to Krishna. Why stop halfway? Why get stuck? Why not take it up very seriously? You can be Krishna conscious. You should be Krishna conscious. Why not be Krishna conscious? Why waste an opportunity? We've got this valuable human life. We have the opportunity to be Krishna conscious. By the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, this Krishna consciousness is spreading wonderfully all over the world, despite many obstacles, both from Maya outside this movement and Maya inside this movement. There are many obstacles on the path of the Krishna conscious movement. Still, it is spreading wonderfully. So many people are feeling inspiration from Krishna consciousness in different places all over the world, more and more. And those who are not bewildered by this Maya, they go on in the path of Krishna consciousness and taste the nectar of Krishna. The nectar of Krishna consciousness is always there for everyone to take. Whatever anyone may say or do or think or not say or not do, Krishna is the eternal substantive reality. He is the Supreme Personality of God. He is the absolute truth. Between us and Krishna, there is Maya. Actually, there's nothing between us and Krishna. Only we have decided that I will be away from Krishna. Therefore, Maya has come. At our request, please come and cover me. Let me forget Krishna because I want to enjoy this material world. But otherwise, there's no obstacle. Krishna is always ready to receive us. Just that we have to be ready to receive Him. And if we are ready to receive Krishna, Krishna is more than willing to help us come to Him. So why not? If we have the opportunity to be Krishna conscious, to follow in the footsteps of His personality, to taste the nectar of Krishna consciousness, then why try to test the flavor of the rotten, fermented stool? That's what the material world is. It's like stool is fermented. There's nothing pleasurable in this material world. We're seeing it as pleasurable, that is Maya. But the actual pleasure is in serving Krishna. That pleasure is not comparable with anything in this material world. Even the very simple pleasure of Krishna consciousness, we may forget how nice it is to sit and chant Hare Krishna with devotees, just forgetting all our cares, worries, attachments, anxieties, and just chant, hear the name of Krishna, or just study Srimad Bhagavad-gita, become absorbed in topics of Krishna, or hear the message of Krishna, or hear activities are recommended to act in Krishna consciousness. Oh, we remain busy in Krishna's service, always thinking how Krishna will be satisfied, how much pleasing this is. Those who have tasted this nectar of Krishna consciousness, why should they again try to taste anything that is not so much? So Krishna is reminding Arjuna, this is what you are meant for, Arjuna. You are my devotee. You are meant to serve me. You can be happy on that platform. Now you want to be on the bodily platform. As soon as you get on the bodily platform, you become in anxiety. Just like Arjuna, he asked Krishna that you take my chariot between the armies and prepare a seat. He was very confident that Senayor, Rupayor, Bhakti, nothing stop nature. Will you please take my chariot? Krishna, come on. Let's go and see who's going to fight. Let's see what it's all about. He was very confident. As long he was addressing Krishna, Achyuta, who is infallible. He was sheltered by Achyuta. So he was feeling very confident. But then, Maya came. I was thinking, oh no. All the friends, my family, my country, so many things. Then he became in mind. He became disappointed. Then again, after hearing Bhagavad-gita, again he became confident. Yashna, Smriti, Taprasana, Stita Srimati, Karishya. Yes, Krishna. Now, my illusion is destroyed. I again remember what is the purpose of my life, by your mercy. Taprasana, Mayajita. Again he's addressing Krishna as Achyuta. Achyuta means who does not fall down, who is not bewildered. When we take shelter of Achyuta, Krishna, then we're not bewildered in any circumstances. So So Arjuna said, 12%. Now I'm fixed in my mission. With all my doubts clear. Therefore, I'm willing to act on your order, Krishna. So that confidence, again you become happy when you take shelter of Krishna. Yes, this is my purpose of life. I have to serve Krishna, whatever. This person may see, that person may see, whatever my crazy mind feels. Can we all serve Krishna? Then you become happy. And as soon as you forget Krishna, and you start thinking in terms of myself, my body, my security, my future, my job, this, that, I, me, and my humble, then you become full of anxiety, because that is material life. Spiritual life means Vaikuntha, no anxiety. And material life means Chintama Premayancha, simply full of anxiety. There's such a difference. You can see, yesterday I was at this Natural Festival in Central London, wonderful festival. So many thousands of people had passion of Lord Jagannath, heard the kirtan, took prasadam, a lot of books distributed. Wonderful festival. So I was in the questions and answers booth, which is how I lost my voice. So someone was saying that, actually, some member of the public was saying, it's so wonderful. No, one member of the public, this man, actually he was from Nigerian TV. He was wandering around in London looking for things to show on Nigerian TV. So he came and did a little interview with me. So he was saying on the TV that, well, this is amazing. You see, London is a very materialistic city. How is it that here in the heart of London, this festival is going on? It's just completely different. So I was explaining, it's like a bubble from Vaikuntha. Within this festival site, it's just like Vaikuntha, and everything else is London. This is not London. This is Vaikuntha. Because the activities of Vaikuntha are the worship of Krishna, dancing, chanting, prasadam distribution. You're saying, what is this? You see, distributing free food. And you can't eat. In London, nothing's free. You have to pay for everything. Why are you getting away free food? Because we're not in London. So that's the fact that atmosphere is produced. The very atmosphere of London is such that even people who are just normal materialistic people, when they go to London, they become subhuman, like snarling monsters. Really, I mean, when I say snarling, you know this word? It means making some noise like an animal. So they do that. And really, exactly like jungle animals. So it's just like being in the jungle. Someone in the questions and answers was talking about some savages. He said, what about savages? Saying how can they take to Krishna consciousness? Here in London, they're all savages. We also take to Krishna consciousness. Savage, you know that word? It means someone who's born in the jungle. So he said, here in London, what's the difference? Do you think you're civilized because you have a big statue of Lord Nelson with one eye? Do you think this is civilization? And you see, we're getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I was staying in an apartment just outside the temple. 4 o'clock in the morning, we walk to the temple. It's dangerous because there are hundreds of people on the streets, all intoxicated and making noises like wild animals, and smell of urine everywhere, and people just very, very aggressive move, like they want to fight, and sometimes you hear them screaming and smashing bottles on each other's heads. I'm not joking, I'm not exaggerating, it's really very demoniac. But when our devotees come, it's just completely different. You go inside the temple, Vaikuntha, or when devotees have Rasa Festival, completely different atmosphere. Such a difference, you can see it so clearly. So we should keep that atmosphere strong. Don't try to compromise. Don't try to be half carnally, half devotee, no such thing. Surrender to Krishna, solve down. Mame Kamshana. Krishna says, surrender to me. Why do you want to stay thinking, what pleasure? What will you get out of that? Simply suffering upon suffering upon suffering. And if you take to Krishna consciousness, happiness upon happiness upon happiness. Krishna service. That's the thing. So we shouldn't become diverted either. Maya has many tricks. Even in the name of Krishna consciousness, we get diverted this way. So one becomes a manager, I have to spend all my time managing this. What about chanting Hare Krishna? Or someone thinking, yeah, I'm just giving an example. There's so many examples. How Maya catches us. Now I want to do some academic course because it will be good for preaching. You end up doing academic course and you end up being a big intellectual. What about the preaching? If you're all about me, if you're all about Krishna, you get a big PhD, but what about Krishna? If you want Krishna, what's the value? If you become a multi-billion zillionaire, it's very likely anyone who's going to become. But you may try for that, and you become rich, you get a lot of money. There's so many ways I'll make a lot of money and I'll give it to Krishna. So just for now I'm going to forget Krishna. I'm going to make a lot of money and then chant Hare Krishna. If Krishna gives you money, you can use it in Krishna. So just like Prabhupada. He left India with 40 rupees. And he became a millionaire. Not by business deeds, but by chanting Hare Krishna. He had so many millions of dollars, properties, this kind of cost. Not for his enjoyment. Prabhupada used to say, I have so many palaces all over the world, opulent rooms. I don't stay in any of them. Because they're quite traveling, preaching in different places. So Prabhupada's purpose wasn't to make many opulent rooms, but his purpose was to bring us to Krishna. But as a side result, so many nice things will come. If we simply stick to Krishna consciousness. Don't get sidetracked. Don't think I will go on a shortcut. You see, there's a main highway. From here, it's got so many activities to become a Krishna conscious. So many things to do. We have the mercy of Prabhupada. So, studying Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad-gita, these are the activities which if we follow, then gradually we'll become purified and we'll go into Godhead. But if we think, well, I'll take someone's offering a shortcut, you see, come to me and I'll give you some special way in which you can just quickly become Krishna conscious. But we see, it's all of love. It doesn't work. Or maybe, you see, I'm going on along the highway, maybe I'll just stop at McDonald's and take a little rest. Eat a hamburger. Later on I'll drive up. Doesn't work. Stay on the road. Go at a steady speed. Don't try to drive too fast. That's another danger because you might crash. Steadily, regular chanting, studying Prabhupada's books, associated with devotees, trying to help this movement, which this movement is meant for spreading Krishna consciousness. So everyone has a responsibility to try to help spread it. And those activities which engage us in helping to spread the Krishna consciousness, that also helps to purify us, and it's very blissful also. When devotees come together to hold festivals or constructing a temple, everyone should help, either by coming and buying some nails in, or giving some Lakshmi so you can buy some more nails, or do something. Everyone should try to help. It's a team effort, group effort, so that it's a nice facility can be made for worshipping Krishna and preaching Krishna consciousness. So, everyone should come together, help each other, and gradually make progress in Krishna consciousness. It's very easy. very straightforward, and very nice. And Maya may say sometimes, well, no, there's this problem, no. It may be. It's not utopia. There will be problems. If there are no problems, we should hope that there will be problems. Because the problem helps us to see Krishna consciousness in more perspective. Sometimes nearby devotees think, when I come to Krishna consciousness, you see, I should immediately get enough money, and my health problems should all be solved, and Krishna should arrange everything, so I can live very comfortably and chant Hare Krishna. It's not like that. It's not that Krishna has to come and sort out all your material problems. Take those material problems. Krishna consciousness means to live in this world, not making so many plans for material adjustment, but making the adjustment of consciousness. How to live in this world and remember Krishna. So we should go on steadily. Don't look for any fancy tricks or some fancy idea. Just this process Prabhupada has given us. It's coming from all the previous acharyas. Chant Hare Krishna. Cooperate with this movement. Study Prabhupada's books. It's very simple, very straightforward, very nice. Stay with this. Go on. And gradually our own Krishna consciousness will develop. And others will come to Krishna consciousness. That's the real pleasure of living. Sometimes we look for pleasure in material things like, I don't know, sometimes I watch movies. I can't understand why. Such a useless thing, I want to watch movies. Anyway, if you have money to go to the movies, why not give it to Krishna? Better. Instead of wasting your time, come here and chant Hare Krishna. There are so many material distractions. It's just an example. Watching TV, so many useless things. But instead of doing that, if you just stick to the process of Krishna consciousness, you'll be very happy. And the real happiness of the devotee is seeing others come to Krishna consciousness. It's the most wonderful thing that we see. Isn't it? We see people that come out of material life and they're taking up Krishna consciousness to become inspired. So let's try to be happy on that front of helping others come to Krishna consciousness. There's no happiness in the material world. There's nothing to compare to preaching Krishna consciousness. And whatever level we can, distributing Prabhupada's books, distributing Krishna, just speaking. And speak to others about Krishna. Jari Dekho Tare Kaha. Krishna Upadesh, Chaitanya Krishna. Speak to them about Krishna. It's wonderful. It's wonderful to speak to them. To see new people come to Krishna consciousness. It's most wonderful. And when they come, have to nurture them, teach them, engage them. And then all the devotees also not only making new devotees, but the older devotees. We all have to help each other. But actually we'll all become strong in Krishna consciousness if we all have this mood of sharing Krishna consciousness with others. That's a great secret of Krishna consciousness. I don't think I'll just go off and have my own little private bhajan at home. Try to share with others. Krishna consciousness is transcendental. It's not like a material thing. You think, I'll keep it all to myself. But the more you give it, the more you get it. There's no such thing in the material world. If you have $100, you give away $1 here, $1 there. Eventually you end up with nothing. But if you have a little bit of Krishna Bhakti, and you give to others, then others get Bhakti, and you also get more Bhakti. That's transcendental mathematics. 1 minus 1 equals 2. Because there's no minus in Krishna consciousness. It's all plus. This Krishna is recommended. Go forward. Don't be foolish. Don't be sidetracked. Stay on the path. Don't give up Krishna consciousness. Rather, go more and more and more deeply into Krishna consciousness. Nothing to lose, and everything to gain. What is there to gain when we say everything to gain? Krishna. Because Krishna is everything. If you have Krishna, then you have everything. There may be so many rich people with millions of dollars, but if you have Krishna, not much richer, because you've got Krishna, you've got everything. Hare Krishna. Is there any question?
Uvodu vašničku pjesmolicu Šimakavu kaže da je kirtan rasa jedino sigurno stanje u masovnom svijetu.
So the production in Vaishnava songbook is said that
Da je kirtan rasa jedino sigurno stanje u masovnom svijetu.
the kirtan ras is only sure.
Safest in English is written as the safest position in the material world.
Tako Vikasa Maharaj u svojoj knjizi u Brahmacharyi kaže da bhajan kirtan, to je spjevanje smata mantre, treba zadovoljiti po obimu i kvalitetu.
And in your book, Brahmacharya said that chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra
Da treba zadovoljiti po obimu i kvalitetu.
we should satisfy by quality and quantity.
Ako nam možete objasniti.
We can explain it.
Quality means, what is the quality of our chanting? How much, on one side, how much we're freed from offenses, and on the other side, how much we're chanting with attachment and love and faith. Kabe habe bolo shede rama, amar aparada ruchi, shuddha nama, nami ruchi, kripabale hoibe, hridaya shancha. As much as the offenses diminish, that much we can chant with taste. So chanting quality means not chanting mechanically, but chanting with feeling in Krishna. And quantity means, that's pretty straightforward, chant more. Funny thing, someone was asking me on Com, she said she wanted to chant more rounds every day. 20 rounds, 32 rounds, and other some devotees came and said, no, you have to chant 16 rounds. Don't chant more rounds. Very strange thing. Minimum 16. Not maximum 16. Now, of course, if a devotee is living in a temple and working under some authorities, they may have some services to do. So they can't say, well, I decided today that I'm going to chant 64 rounds, so, don't tell me what to do. If you have extra time, certainly chant more. That's very nice. So quantity and quality also. We should always be trying to improve the quality of our chanting by hearing. And chanting means praying. Patitam Mam Vishnu Bhavan Mudho Kripaya Tava Padam Puja Sthita Dutta Samasham Vishnu. This is our mode of praying. Krishna, I forgot you. Now please take me back to engage me in your service.
Maharaj, can you little explain about you said that in London it's a horrible place, a danger place.
Yeah, the whole material world is horrible, but in some places it's more obvious than others. Croatia is also horrible. Really, it's everywhere. It's disgusting.
Therefore, I want to ask, what is important and what is the best way to keep Krishna consciousness in proper way in the place?
In perspective.
It's town best or it's village little better?
Is the town best or is the country best? Actually, the best place is in the association of devotees, either in the town or in the city. For relatively sane living, the country is better. It's intrinsically better. Of course, in the country, you're going to be completely in Maya also. Or you can be Krishna conscious. But city life, in the modern cities especially, there's gross increment of the modes of passion and ignorance. Very strong propaganda to be totally in Maya. Now in the country, it's not that Maya is not there, but at least there's not so much. You don't see so many billboards. Of course, nowadays you can have your TV and everything. It's all there in the country. So Prabhupada he wanted actually farm communities that devotees could live in their own microcosmic communities and make their own Vaikuntha bubbles away from the disgusting cities. Prabhupada often used to quote one English poet that God made the country and man made the city. But over and above all, association with devotees is very important. Even I've seen sometimes devotees, they think, I'll go to the country, it's better for my Krishna consciousness. But if they go away without association, they fall down. Really. So it's very important.
Imam još jedno pitanje, sa Čandam Maharaj je pričao u lekciji da jedan bhakta je imao televizor kod kuće i onda je izbacio iz njega motor i samo je ostavio okvir. I unutra je stavio oltar radi Krišnje. Neki bhakti su mislili da je to fanatično, neki su bili jako sretni, pa ako Maharaj može objasniti.
Swami was sharing one lecture about one devotee who took his TV and he put out engine and from the TV, and instead of screen, he put a baby Radha Krishna. And some devotees like it, but some devotees said that it's too extreme.
What's too fanatical?
To put Radha Krishna babies in TV. So what is your vision?
Well, generally the TV, they make a very nice box because the TV is the most important thing in people's homes. So if the box is very nice, it could be nice for Radha Krishna. It's a good message. But I gave up one deity for another deity. You see, there are certain rules and regulations, and there is leniency also. We also have to set the mood of the devotees within certain limits. One time, devotees in New Zealand, they had rented a house, and they had this kind of glass doors which opened out onto a nice garden. So they made a rotating altar. So the deities, they could turn around and look at the nice garden. Prabhupada said this is Prabhupada. His divine grace Prabhupada. So we should be careful not to speculate. Traditionally, deities are installed according to strict rules and regulations. So we should try not to speculate. But under the circumstances, you see, if it's a nice box, if it's well designed, it looks very nice, it might be a suitable place. One thing that I'm personally getting a bit fed up is with some of my disciples writing and saying, well, someone gave us these deities and we're already worshipping, can we worship them? We're already worshipping, can we worship it? And after some time, well, you know, it didn't quite work out, and this and that. Deity worship is very serious. You shouldn't be whimsical. And another thing about that is that it's better we concentrate on the deities in our local ISKCON temple, serving them, rather than making our own little private bhajana home. That is more Prabhupada's rule. We may have deities at home, but that deity worship shouldn't supplant our joint worship in the Sankirtan movement in Prabhupada's temples. We don't have to become a race of bhajananandis all sitting at home just worshipping their own deities. Even if we're worshipping deities at home, we should all come together. Not that our home worship becomes more than the worship in the temple. Yeah, you going to say?
Możemy widzieć dla osób jako perspektywne, nagarki podchodzą do czerwcu i ciężko nie widzieć dla zaprawo Krishna, zaprawo Brina, nie ma im tej woli. Na koji način pomóc tym osobom?
The persons who are on the beginning of their Krishna consciousness, they see they have some difficulties, and they don't see how Krishna is helping them. So, how to help Krishna?
Well, the answer is already there in the question. They don't see Krishna, but they see the devotees. So you're asking how to help them. That's how Krishna helps them. That's how they will be helped, if you help them. They see Krishna through the devotees. Devotees have to help them by preaching to them, giving them association, giving them prasadam, encouraging them. People newly coming to Krishna consciousness, they're like children, spiritually. They need a lot of guidance. Often children do silly things, which they think it's good, but actually it's not good for them. So it needs a lot of patience to train children. Selflessness. It's the opposite of selfishness. If we see Prabhupada or if we see Prabhupada, we see there's one word which could totally describe his whole personality: selflessness, always giving to others. And that is the test for a preacher of Krishna consciousness. A real preacher of Krishna consciousness is selfless. He's not doing it for any personal gain, he simply wants to try to help others. Any other questions? So we finished that? We have class again tomorrow morning, what time? What time's the class tomorrow? 7:30? I brought some prasad for you all from London, from Radha Mandalishwar, Mangalati Sweets. So you can say Jai, but Lufthansa Airlines lost my bag. So it's there with my clothes, my toothbrush, and everything else. Maybe tomorrow morning they might have got it by now. Lufthansa means German efficiency, right? Hare Krishna. Don't depend on anything in this material world. So I'll see you tomorrow morning. Do you have any prasad in this room? Anything? Okay, well something's better than nothing. Usually we give some sweet or food or something. Okay, well according to Lufthansa Airlines they're supposed to be bringing my bag at the apartment at 11 tonight. So if they're true to their word,